isn't this just fantastic? Captain's log, subdates 21.121.4. I sent an away team to Scarborough to exhume a perp. This perp will be tried after death and sentenced accordingly. We've also arrested the BBC for crimes against children and robbing the taxpayer of valuable time. Oof, this is a bit too bright, isn't it? Let's go over here and be exciting. Welcome everyone to the Halls of Injustice. Today we have 2 perps for 1 crime. The case we are about to go through, though, does not have a sentence yet at time of recording. It is possible, as I'm recording this at the end of November, it could in fact, by the time this is made public, a sentence could have been administered. If it has been, it will be a pinned comment. If it hasn't, I will of course mention their sentence, the judges that is, and then, well, we'll just point and say, no, mine's better, because I've got a sentence. Don't worry, I've got you, fam. For this case, we need a victim. The victim's name is Julia Rawson. Julia Rawson went missing on May the 12th, and while her family did believe her to be, well, no longer on this realm of existence, the police did start a search. They started by going to various properties in Tipton, one of which was on Mission Drive. They also searched primary schools, allotments, and dredged a nearby canal. But it wasn't until they went to another property on Mission Drive that they then found Julia Rawson. What had tipped them off was the fact that a young man had taken a blood-stained sofa to a local dump. That man was traced back to Mission Drive. That man's name is Nathan Maynard Ellis. He lives with his boyfriend, David Leesley. The police then arrested both men and searched the property. In the property, they had found a napkin that bore Julia Rawson's nickname Juju on, in Nathan Maynard Ellis's bedside cabinet. On June the 12th and 19th, the police then found, in local areas including primary school and wasteland, bags. These bags contained pieces of puzzles. This particular puzzle had a sizable hint of Julia and her current status because they were parts of her body. Oh, and they had found one of her kidneys in the property that Nathan Maynard Ellis resided within, believed to be kept as a trophy. Eventually, Nathan explained what had happened in his very innocent way. He had met Julia by chance at the Bottle and Cork pub in Dudley. They hit it off, they had a few drinks, and they went back to Nathan's residence. This is where it gets a bit murky. Nathan claimed that Julia Rawson made a move on Nathan, and Nathan, not knowing how to react, decided in his infinite wisdom the best way to make sure she understood to back off was to strike her on the back of her head 4 times with a rolling pin. Nathan Maynard Ellis had claimed that he then took her to the bathroom to help treat her injury, to clean the blood, only for him to then realise she was no longer alive. It's worth adding now, Nathan did try to defend himself a little, saying that he just wasn't happy after being bullied at school and that he had stopped taking his prescribed medication around a week before Julia Rawson died, via him murdering her. The way the trial unfolded painted a very particular picture of him and of his partner. So when the defense QC David Mason asked about his affinity towards making horror masks because it was believed he was making some for charity events, Nathan Maynard flexed about how he had left with a distinction from college and had continued to self-teach to progress to higher grade materials and castings. He was also asked about other allegations against him, of the rape variety, because there were 5 charges against him during this trial as well. Yeah, this guy's, Nathan Maynard Ellis has a mountain of accusations levied against him. It's okay, David Leesley does too. He's just not as interesting. I do want to point out something. Because of the way Nathan has referenced his entire story of an accident 4 times, to then assist to realize she was no longer there. He is attempting to use diminished responsibility to get a reduced charge, because there's no version of this where he doesn't go to prison. The only issue is whether it becomes involuntary, which it can't. You hit her 4 times. You then cut her body up. The prosecution's way of addressing this over the month-long trial came via Karim Khalil, who claimed that Nathan had harbored dark thoughts for many years and focused mainly on the sexual assault of women and their violent killing, with him showing a particular interest in themes that involved serial killers and dismemberment of bodies. This being supported by the vast collection of CDs, DVDs and VHS found within their home that focused on serial killers and any sexual abuse suffered by women, which is where David Leesley features because he's been accused of enabling this behaviour and also providing additional materials, and of course his involvement in the whole dismemberment of a dead body. Oh, and I do want to add, Julia Rawson herself was also gay. Prior to Nathan even speaking to her, she was a tad drunk and she did get a little flirtatious with another man, but she was not actually interested in men. So you can try and play the card that she tried it on with you, but all it tells us is you took advantage of a drunken woman. So after a month of trial and merely 7.5 hours of deliberation, the jury were able to come back with a unanimous verdict. Guilty of 3 charges: murder, perverting the course of justice, and concealing a body after dismemberment. Nathan Maynard Ellis was also found guilty of 4 counts of rape and 1 attempted rape. I think it's fairly safe to say, with this particular verdict, there is no sentence either will get, no matter how hard they try and play the I was bullied, I'm mentally abused, I have suffered a long time excuse, will prevent them from ever seeing the inside of an ISO cube. But due to the circumstances of this year, they have yet to be sentenced. Both are held in prison, and it's unlikely the time there will be taken off the sentences they will get. And based on UK sentencing guidelines, all 3 of them carry life sentences. So when they are finally sentenced, you can be pretty sure neither one of them is going to get a reduced sentence. Nor will they share a cell together, be in the same block together, be able to get intimate together. But I can tell you what I would sentence them to. I'm sure you're all very keen to know what I would do with them. And I'm sure many of you will think, he's just going to say life. You're right, but with a slight twist. I'm going to try something new here and see how it works out. I thought I'd sentence them to life, but also introduce them to a faux Chesapeake Ripper treatment. For that to make sense, you will have to have watched Season 2 of Hannibal. It is quite a way to go. Think Supernatural, Leviathan getting bibbed, but slower, much slower. With everything I've covered today, I'd love to know what you think, so please do let me know in the comments down below. As a final thing, I'm streaming on Twitch tonight. If I don't see you there, have a fantastic Tuesday. Thank you all for listening.